Hello and welcome to the Savaged Unfiltered podcast. I am Savage. This show is being brought to you by our good friends at Blackout Coffee. That's right, guys. At Blackout Coffee, they deliver the freshest grind to the American patriot. Little coffee shop and brewery located down in South Florida. Fort Pierce, Florida, to believe it or not. So the next time you're digging through your holiday wish list, head over to blackoutcoffee.com. Mention you heard it on the Savage Unfiltered show, and they're going to give you a little bonus treat on us with promo code SAVAGE15. That's right, guys. Check out their amazing set of brews called Brutal Awakening, 2A Guns and Gadgets, just to name a few, guys. Check them out there. Give John some hell from me. And, hey, why not, piss off your local neighbor or that crazy liberal of an uncle, right? So check out blackoutcoffee.com, guys. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Glad you're with us, guys.
Warning: this show contains strong language, brutal opinions, and zero apologies given. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Welcome to Savaged Unfiltered, where truth gets raw, opinions stay real, and nothing is off limits. This isn't your average podcast. It's the unfiltered conversation you've been craving. Politics, culture, chaos, we're diving into it all. No scripts, no safe spaces, just savage takes and real talk. You're in the right place. Strap in, it's time to get unfiltered. Savage.
Oh my God, I screwed up that so bad. I screwed it up, guys, so bad. Oh my God. I'm trying to do like I guess like a soft plug for, one of our sponsors through Blackout. And if you notice, like between like, the inserts, like the video production, it kind of like it showed me literally like right there. And then it came off, and then the intro video came in with the package. But I apologize. I really do. I mean, that was embarrassing, Bob.
You could have showed me. You just showed yourself. You could have just popped me on there. Everybody be like, "Oh, what's going on? Oh, that's a pre peek at the guest."
Yeah, I'm selfish. I really am. I should have showed you. You're right. I should have showed you, but hey, you win some, you lose some, right?
Yeah,
You
that's the
win
way
some,
it goes.
you win some, so you'll lose some. So I mean, yeah. Since we got we got our good friend Bob LeMent back from his program Static Radio, which is all over the radar map, right, Bob? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
you're
right. We're on the radar. I suppose. Yeah,
all over the place in
all
a
over
good
the
way.
radar. We're on the edge of the radar. Here we are.
On the edge of the universe. Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about split personalities. Which one is really you, folks?
Which one?
I mean, it's interesting, right, Bob? Because we've seen that through the course of years. Yeah.
Well, hopefully the better one. I don't know. That's a good question. The better personality, hopefully, is you.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, we'll find out, I guess.
Hopefully. I mean, you look at people like Robert Williams. I mean, Robert Williams been trying to, before he shortly passed away.
Yeah.
He's been looking.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like public persona versus private persona. Get into that a little bit. Yeah. So he had obviously a public persona that was very outrageous and, very upbeat and everything. And then oddly enough, his private persona, he was quite depressed.
Yeah. I mean, he was channeling out a lot of struggles and, I mean, trying to hide them the best of his abilities, but I mean, hey,
it's tough.
It is. It's a tough market, where you're
And
trying to
everybody does it
sell.
though. I mean, that's,
Yeah, I mean,
you
you're
have
trying to
you
sell your
you
craft,
know,
right? You're
mm,
trying to sell your interests, your passions behind it, right? You're trying to put on, and I'm gonna say it, folks, a front. Whether it's a real front or usually it's fabrication, obviously.
mhm,
And a lot of people are good at what they do. You can't pick up sometimes the character within the persona, right?
mhm.
So, like,
Sometimes
sometimes,
it's all kind of melded together, but sometimes, there's separation, and some people are way different publicly than they are privately, and so
yeah, yeah,
yeah. I mean, it just everybody's different, and everybody does it though is the thing. So I
yeah.
mean, even you don't have to be like a celebrity or anything to have uh, this kind of thing going on. A lot of people do that just because it's a way to cope in the world, so that when they're out and about in the public eye, and I mean the public eye isn't just going to the store.
Mm.
They act a certain way, and then when they're at home, they act a different way. And so, I mean, it's not unusual in that regard. I mean, it's
I
very
mean,
subtle for a lot of people, but
you talk
um,
about like it's easy in a way, and I'm
yeah,
gonna
well, I
I'm gonna
mean,
judge you a little bit because you talk about like the private, lifestyle versus the actual professional lifestyle.
yeah, well, yeah, but when you if you're getting into like being like when you're a celebrity or you're something like that, then that's a little bit different. So then you have to maintain like it gets to be all kinds of stuff, right? So let's say I'm trying to come up with somebody who's a good example for this that people would know, but well, somebody who you think of as the same either or is Bill Murray. Bill Murray,
Oh
kind of his
yeah,
persona
yeah.
to be out and about in public is pretty much the same as his persona with you know outside of that. So he's kind of one of the same. So he doesn't really have a drastic, you know, swing between one and the other. But other people might. So I mean, if you look at um, Ben Affleck gets caught
Oh
all the
God, yeah. Yeah, look at people like Ben Affleck. I mean, even look at like similarities like you just mentioned with Bill Murray. I mean, another one, Adam Sandler. I mean,
sure.
literally the same character of a man that plays the majority vast of his characters on the movie, in his
Right.
movies versus the real life person. I mean, he's one of the same. Or at least I see it that way. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe people
he
don't.
was just recently David Letterman has a thing on Netflix called My Next Guest, whatever it's called. I may have not said that right, but anyway, Adam Sandler was his guest, right?
Okay.
And he, seems like pretty much he just amps up parts of his personality for his on-screen persona,
Hmm.
and so he's not really that drastically different. It's just obviously for doing movies and whatever, he has to be over the top, and so he does. But in his personal life, he's not. But he's pretty much, seems like I mean, he's your regular multi-millionaire, millionaire family guy.
Hmm.
He's obviously gotten paid a lot of money and so forth, but he's really focused on his family and on his friends. All of the people he's worked with, he still works with. He doesn't like bounce from people to people. He still works with David Spade, and
Oh, yeah.
he'd still work with Chris Farley if he was alive, and he talks fondly about him. And so yeah, it's interesting. He seems to be kind of the genuine article as far as celebrities go, because so many of them, you get the people that on the outside portray this nice, pleasant persona, and then you hear all these bad things about them in the background. Oh, they treated me terribly, or there's such a bad tipper, or or they're such a
Yeah.
jerk. Whenever they're out, whenever they don't think they're being watched. This seems to be a little more prevalent with women celebrities than men, but I think that's also partially driven by the media, because the media likes those stories, right? They like the bitch at the store, at the high end store, who buys a purse for like $10,000 and then won't tip on coffee, and so that's kind of I think a bit of a trope in the media. But
you think so though?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think some of them are not nice people, obviously, but I think that it gets played up a bit because they got to sell, they're going to need to get clicks, right? They used to say they had to sell newspapers, but now they got to get clicks. And so they have to put something out there that people are going to click on,
It's funny you bring up clicks. Okay.
Yeah.
And Bob's probably going to like, oh God. He was
What we're gonna clickbait? We're gonna.
He's going there, right. Exactly where I said about clickbait. I mean, I'm going there, literally.
Sure. Everybody wants clicks now. So
look at the disorder behind it, right? With media personalities, on these social media platforms. I mean, look at Candace Owens, a prime example of clickbait, where she goes from one analogy to another analogy. I mean, they're rabbit holes. They're like one after the other. Again, do you find that? I find that dangerous, but I also find it risky on how a lot of these people are going into that measure.
But society is much different than it used to be. So everybody's playing the game. And so everybody wants to be out there, and they're like, they want to get the clicks. They want the attention. They want everything. Cause what comes along with that, typically speaking, is money, right? So if you can garner the attention of the public, then you get the money for garnering that attention. And so, you can't, the problem is it used to just be, in the media, and you're like, oh, that Burt Reynolds, he's just in it for the money. He's doing all these things to make people pay attention to him, back in the day. But now the game is everybody's game. It's not just a celebrity game. It's everybody's game, And so
a lot of competition.
People, regular average people are like trying to do things in order to get clicks or likes or whatever. And so it's changed everything. So I think you have to look at this as what it is, which is it's a bit of a game, and people want to try to push that. Now, obviously some push for harder than others. And if you're younger, I'm not that young. And so, if you're younger, it seems more important to them than it does to older people. And so, because were born into this situation, and this is the way it is, can you imagine? Because I know you're not as old as I am, but you're not young. And so if you were in school and you had an Instagram when you were like in grade school, and people were like hounding on you because nobody likes your Instagram, can you imagine growing up like that? And then now you're
well, I mean, I look young now. I shaved a beard, guys. It took 20 years off my face, more or less.
But you know what I mean? You didn't grow up with Instagram, and so you got these kids who grew up with Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and the whole mess of it, and that became a point of your popularity, right? It's just like if you were a cheerleader or a football player or whatever it was, now these things make you popular. Well, I got so many.
I would say right around 1994, we seen what we're talking about. I mean, we go into like multiple personality disorders, right? So like right around 1994 is where the evolution jump came in, right? With technology, with all this. I mean, this is obviously, this is before AI, and I will touch a little bit of AI. AI is literally, if you want to talk about multiple personalities, AI is destroying that. Literally.
Right. That's a whole other bit of business.
That's a whole rabbit hole we can get into, but we won't get into that. I mean,
these kids have grown up with this, and it's become a point of, it's a way for them to differentiate themselves. And if you don't,
Yeah.
then, it's just like drinking or drugs or anything. Everybody,
Well, it's peer
when you're young,
pressure.
you do
It's
all
peer
kinds of
pressure.
stuff
You
like
you,
that.
you don't talk
Yeah.
about peer pressure anymore. Like it's now peer pressure has evolved into the term again, bullying. Right? It's bullying.
Yeah,
Right?
bullying. Yeah.
Which I
My
mean,
brother's bullied.
I had this on a panel, guys, like a couple weeks ago. Actually, it was a week ago. I'm lying, not a couple weeks ago. It was a week ago. I had to remember there for a minute. Yeah, I'm not old, but I'm getting to the point where I have to slow down every now and then just to recognize or realize what the hell you were doing there for a minute. So I was on a TikTok panel. Yeah, believe it or not, of all
Really?
places.
TikTok
Yeah.
panel. They have those? That's amazing.
Yeah, they have these. I mean, I think every platform now has like a live feature.
Yeah, everything's live now.
Yeah, everything is live because they're trying to promote that more with the whole live.
Right. Yeah.
And
'Cause
I
it's
was
different.
I was on this panel and we were talking about bullying.
Mhm.
Okay. And they were like, do you feel bullying is profitable? Is it beneficial? I said to a high extent it is. And they were very shocked with my response. They were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? That's what's wrong with our country. There's too much of it. I was like, actually, there's not enough of it. And here's where it's going to make sense. If you think about it, the background of bullying actually motivates the opposite of the individuals.
Sure. It can, yeah.
It does. It does. It will actually bring them up to a level of high motivation, understanding things that they weren't maybe able to do or accomplish.
Mhm.
You don't find that in
Oh,
anything?
no, I totally I agree that there's a certain portion of it that, yes, a certain amount of bullying is gonna motivate somebody to do something
absolutely.
perhaps that they want to do, but they've been putting off or doesn't think they can do, and then it can have a motivating factor. I think that, just like everything, there comes a point where it can do the opposite, where basically it can hold somebody down or push somebody down to the point where they won't do anything. And so the weird thing is, just like everything, it's like on a meter, right? So there's a certain point where bullying can be beneficial because it kicks you in the butt and says, maybe you should do something. But then if you get past a point, then it can do the opposite where it can hold somebody down and they'll never do anything. And so that's where you have to, just like anything, a little of it can be beneficial and a lot of it can be very negative. You can take anything, literally anything. Alcohol. Hey, sometimes a little bit of alcohol can be pretty beneficial. You feel good, everybody's happy, you have a good time. A lot of alcohol, and you wreck your car, you kill people, what have you.
Yeah, it wakes you up a little
same
bit.
thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with bullying. Same thing with anything. Moderation is the key, and so you do. I think there's an aspect, and I mean, you might not even call it bullying, maybe you call it constructive criticism, I don't know, whatever. But the reality is that if somebody is kind of egging you on, it may get you to do something that you would been thinking about but have never wanted, never push you over the edge and like, okay, I got to do this. But too much bullying, if somebody's just constantly hammering you every day all day long, that's not good.
No, that's
not going to be beneficial.
I look
for
at that
anybody.
as well as clinical criteria.
But I think
so
we
to
need a
speak.
different word, right? So I think that, and
I was going to go in there with you, but I was going to let you kind of land your plane there with that. No. If I may, I find it with clinical criteria within the system, right? And here's where I want to break it down, okay?
Mhm.
I have some notes because I was actually researching this here.
Okay.
Okay, so bear with me. Yeah, Savage. What? I have notes,
Is there a
guys. I
book
go
in the
into some
background there
notes.
somewhere? Okay.
Yeah. So
No,
here
I'm bullying you. I'm bullying you on
I
the.
see where you're going there. See, Bob's right there, right? I mean, the charter plane is like literally right next to mine. So anyway, so here's the clinical criteria, right? Here's your short version here. I want to
Mhm.
make sure I put this in right, okay? Because I was doing some homework on this as I was discussing this in the last 24 hours with Bob off the air here of what we're going to be discussing. And I wanted to do my homework so I didn't sound like a jackass, right? Which is hard to believe sometimes. But anyway, two or more distinct identity states,
Mhm.
often called alters, that take control of behavior at different times. So what do they mean by that? So what they're kind of going into, folks, is where you take two or more identity traits, or how they phrase it, states, often called alters, where you can alter your behavior into a level of, and this is where it's going to make sense, your own personal psychosis.
Mhm.
And you can actually use that in a response within the bullying, where you can counteract that. I don't know if you've ever experienced that in your life before, Bob, but I have.
Mhm.
I just wasn't aware of it. That's the
I I
that's number
That's a good
one.
question. I have no idea.
You have no idea. Ask your friend Miles. I'm sure he has.
Oh,
Does
Miles has been bullied terribly.
he
I
bullies you on your own
Oh,
show. We
yeah,
can
but
see
that's
that. Yeah.
I don't even think about it. So, the other question is it really bullying if you don't let it affect you? So, that's the other thing. So
Yeah. Now here's the others that are going to make sense. Gaps in memory that go way beyond the ordinary forgetting, especially around childhood or traumatic events. So
Mhm.
you can kind of put a gap in your own memory
Sure.
to have like this, you know, um, uh, Charlie Bucket or something of the Willy Wonka version, like where he's like envisioning something where it's like it could be realistic or it
Mhm.
can just be, pointless.
Mhm.
That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think
yeah.
that, I mean, if you're blanking out parts of, if you had so much trauma from something that you're blanking out parts of your own personal history that you've lived, then obviously that's something serious.
Mm,
And so, that it takes it beyond, I think, what I won't say most people, but what a percentage of the people would experience, right? Most of the time, somebody hound you because you're typically because you're younger, because you're different, and you get hounded on things, and then, but it doesn't have to change you, or it doesn't have to make it so that you're like, I'm gonna push this out of my head so I don't even ever remember it. And I mean, that becomes that's
yeah.
a serious thing. And so, yeah, if you're looking in that realm, then I think that it can still be considered bullying, but that's something that's way past what you would
I was
call
gonna say, are you gonna
the
do
average
like the "I
person.
feel pretty" thing where it's "I feel
I feel
pretty, I
pretty.
feel lovely today," and then,
Uh-huh.
take your friends and, run around like a little circle and everything?
Well, I think the weird thing is
Yeah.
that, if we tie this into, in a moderation, we tie this into what we were talking about with, social media and so forth, is that people are constantly trying to fool their friends and fool themselves
Yeah.
by posting things that, that
I
may or
see
may
that.
not be true.
Yeah, I
Or
see that on social media every single
yes,
time.
and so
Hold on,
you can't
Bob,
live
are
like that.
you I know, but are you your own victim of doing that?
Yes. Oh,
I will
yes.
admit sometimes I am. I'll post things like we went into the whole clickbait,
Mhm.
analogy when we opened
Sure.
up the show. I'll do that, yeah, if I feel like, "Hey, uh, Mr. or Mrs." Should it have a title? I don't think it should.
I don't think so.
I mean, Mrs. or Mr. AI, should we use you for leverage? Come on,
Yeah.
guys, put your hands up. I know you're guilty of that
Oh,
because we
everybody
all use
nowadays,
it today.
everybody
Yeah.
uses it, sure.
Yeah.
The thing is are you creating your own reality and then buying into it? That becomes the problem. I think that's so. Again, I hate to get into the older youth thing.
A perfect segue. You just went in with my audience, right? Are you creating an alter universe? Okay.
Right.
Bob didn't say that, but I'm going to fill in the filler words because I know where he's going with it. Are you creating your own fitted or filtered universe for your own either beneficial of purposes or benefits or any of that? I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
we'll talk to Bob here because Bob plays a blue cat
Right, I do in a bit, yeah.
on
I
his
make
show.
my own universe, sure.
And what I mean by his show is it's broken down into parts now, right? Like when you first came out with Static Radio. Okay, I'm going to
Right.
put Bob on the map here a little
Sure.
bit because Bob's been around for a hot minute, within this industry. I mean,
Sure.
he in all regards, Bob, you should be credit for this, and I hope people look at you for huge amounts of credits because
Okay.
you are part of that group that basically
Ruined all their lives, exactly.
well, I wouldn't say ruined their lives, but you helped it.
Yeah.
You basically put podcasting on the map because you belong to a certain group of people that were initially the I want to call it the grandfathers of the industry.
Sure. Yeah, the original podcasting people, yeah.
So when you first started out, you started out doing this thing as you said when I first met you, like a goof with your college buddy, Miles.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was the whole. Well, it still is in a way, but yeah.
In a way, it is, but it has evolved now because of the industry, and you see, even like yourself, you have to evolve because of how podcasting is going. So you broke it up to sections where you have interviews, and then now you're doing this this thing called Mondo Frico, which
Mondo Frico.
Yeah, real quick, explain that before we lose time of the show. What is
Sure.
Mondo Frico?
Oh yeah.
Is it a split personality of yourself, or
No,
what
not
is
at
it?
all.
Okay.
So no, basically Mondo Frico is a show that I actually started doing with a guy named Rob. So I was on Rob's his show called Your Most Interesting Story, and I told the story on Rob's show, and we got along really well. And he goes, we had talked a little bit off recording about some weird things in the world, weird things that happen, weird things you read about, and in the line of cryptids and UFOs and paranormal, supernatural type stuff. And so we both ended up having an interest, and he's like, hey, would you record something? So I had him on we did like 7 different shows. It wasn't called Mondo Frico at that time. 7 different shows on weird occurrences, just he and I talking about something. Actually, I think originally kind of jumped with the drones that were flying over New Jersey about a year or so ago.
I remember seeing that show with the drones and everything.
I call it the Jersey Drone Show. So, but anyway, we had a lot of fun doing that. And so then he like, let's talk about some other stuff. So we did. And then he said, let's make a show called Mondo Frico.
Yeah, where does that name come from, Mondo Frico?
Well, we threw a bunch of names on a wall, and basically that's the one we agreed on.
Oh my God! I'm gonna take a playbook out of Jeff, our good friend from Po Duty.
Yeah.
Like my friend Walt and I, when we went up to Pittsburgh for that show earlier this summer, this past summer actually, we were questioning the whole where did the name come from?
Right.
Po Duty. And he basically went into like an AI response of it and said that I used AI. And I put in filler words of podcasting and mission, and Po Duty came up.
Po Duty came out, really?
So is that how you guys came up with
no, not at all. So we both came up with our own separate lists of names that we thought we would like.
Okay.
And at this point, I'm trying to remember. It's been it's a little over a year ago, I think, when all this was happening. And so through that list, then we each knocked things off of each other's lists, and essentially what remained was a couple of them. And Mondo Frico won the day, and it's like, okay, that sounds weird. It's not overly descriptive, which we didn't want to be overly descriptive because we we wanted anything that was kind of strange was fair game. And so, yeah, Mondo Frico became the one that seemed to work for us. And so then, yeah, we started recording. So we recorded, I don't know, couple 10 shows or whatever, but we'd already recorded like 7 shows prior to that without a name.
Wow.
And without calling it anything. And we got along real well and so forth. And then life happened to both of us a little bit, but life happened to Rob a little more than me, I guess. And so he's like, I don't think that I can continue because of some other things that's happening in his life.
That's awesome. So you continued his vision.
Yeah, what we pulled up together, right? Exactly. We kind of worked on it together and came up with this. So he does music, and so all the music in it he created for the show. And I'm like, well, I think I still like doing this. Is it okay if I continue this? And he goes, yeah, sure. Yeah. And so I said, well, if anytime you want to stop back by, just jump right in.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, yeah, I'll keep that in mind because, sometimes your world turns upside down or gets sideways and you have to deal with all that. So, but anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I've continued. And so I just reach out and I'm maybe a little bit like yourself. I can do things on my own.
Yeah.
But I don't find it as fun. And so in order to make it kind of more fun for me, so in kind of the system that we had worked out for Mondo Frico, Rob was the one bringing, as far as the show goes, bringing the ideas to the table. And then, we had a quiz and so forth. And so I had to switch roles. So I was always the one that answered everything.
I'm trying to figure out.
But we switched it. Now I'm the one that brings things to the table, and whoever I have as a guest is the person that answers the question.
I mean, we're on this topic with split personalities, right? So I'm trying to figure out, I'm even trying to figure out Bob sometimes. I haven't figured I haven't figured. Oh, good. I don't even think anybody close to you probably has figured you out. I'm saying that like jokingly with humor. Yeah. So like the reason why I say that is because when I first met Bob, like digitally, right, through like podcasting, we'll just use for layman's terms, hookups, more or less. They have like
that sounds terrible.
Platform hookups for podcasting, where you can connect with different types of guests and other personalities in the industry. You had a show called Static Radio, and you still do.
Yeah.
And where it's at now, it's evolved into different aspects of it, where it's now the main show is obviously the flagship program is you and Miles, right? That's the flagship program of it. Mm-hmm. And then you basically broke it up within interviews that you bring on, similar to how I do.
I interviewed you a long time ago.
And and you also have this program called Lament Tonight.
I do a funny thing called Lament Tonight,
which is kind of similar to your regular interview type style.
A little bit, yeah,
a
little bit.
And he's good, guys. He really is. Where he can go from the comedy, dark humor, Midwestern type style of genre of this craft of podcasting, of comedy, or comedy of podcasting, however you want to throw it in there.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
To just straightforward, serious talk.
Sure. I love to talk serious stuff all the time.
But through all that, he's the same character of the Blue Cat. Like, how the hell is this possible? He's either good at what he does, or he has some cheats. Do you have some cheats with your personality?
Maybe they're cheats. I don't know. I suppose a little bit. I wouldn't call them cheats, though. So I like to read, and so I read a lot. I don't read necessarily what everybody else is reading most of the time. I usually read things that are a little bit weird and a little bit different. And so that helps me a lot because a lot of people want to talk about
not stuff. Weird. What?
A lot of people don't want to talk about what everybody else is talking about. That's part of this game, really.
That's the competition. Yeah. You got to find, you have to find topics where you want to engage with your audience, but still keep them interested of what you normally talk about.
Right. It's got to be,
and that's hard.
Yeah. It's got to be known but unknown, which is
Exactly.
a tough rail to
I mean, you
stand
at the end
on.
of the day, kind of before we close up time, because we are, folks, we're losing time here,
We're
and I
out
want to
of
make sure
time.
we're
Okay.
almost there. We're almost there. Before we get there, guys, I have to get this quick thing in, okay? Because I'm all about plugs and everything else.
That's right.
I'm all about. I'm about plugs like no tomorrow, guys. Okay, and yeah, that's what you guys are wondering about this Savaged Army stuff, guys. I'm gonna go there with you on it, guys. Earlier last year, we had a vision with creating some type of get rid of that music. It's just not working. I'm sorry, guys. So we had a vision. And before I go there, guys, I promise, because a lot of my listeners are wondering about sound effects and how we used to do it, last year. We're bringing that back. I do listen to the listeners and viewers that tune in. Okay. It's coming, guys. Bear with us. We have brand new software. We're going to bring it in. But get back to this plug real quick before we lose time, guys. We had a vision last year, okay, of partnering with local artists, okay, and local musicians in the general area, and I've partnered with about 5 already, okay, including a good friend of mine that I've known forever. Okay, I'm gonna have her on my show one time, and I'm sure Bob is gonna be very curious on who this woman is, this individual, because she will go into, I'm gonna coin the term, savage landmines of who I am, really.
Mhm.
Okay, because people have been trying to figure out who I am for years. Okay, and I'll give her the benefit of doubt of exposing me to certain levels. Okay, my good friend Kylie O'Brien, which I love, by the way. She actually has 2 songs within our label, Savaged Army. By checking us out today, guys, you are going to find the most cutthroat music out there. Some of the music on here, very patriotic, very conservative, very political, just stuff you normally wouldn't hear, that you would want to hear, that maybe certain musicians or artists are afraid to even air. Um, I'm not. I don't know if you figured that out yet, but I'm not afraid of the algorithms. The little algorithm gods, I'm not afraid. You know, I'll pull out a invisible gun and say, back at you. So scan this QR code today, guys. Subscribe, okay? And the music is just cutting edge with some of our featured music by my friend Cannons and other local artists. Our Damn Mind. It's available through our label, Savage Army, which we are also partnered with Distro Kid Records. So hat tip to Distro Kid for basically partnering with us. It means a lot. Um, yeah, I'm just blabbering right now, but check it out, guys. It's an amazing little side program that we have here with the show, and obviously Truth Productions Media. So can't say more than enough. Bob is very quiet. He's like, I was
No,
not aware
I
that
was
you
just
have.
waiting for you. I was
I
waiting
was
for
not
that
aware
one.
that you have music now. No, I don't have music. It's
Now
people that
you're a mogul, is what you're telling me?
I guess you could say I'm.
Music mogul?
There goes the split personalities. I'm going into another chain
Putting
of
on another
industry.
hat.
Yes, another
There you go.
hat. I got my Tim Pool hat on. Yeah,
that's
right back at you, Tim Pool. People are like, is he trying to imitate Tim Pool? Because Tim Pool always has like he always like sports the black beanies.
Mhm.
I like the gray one. I can't put black because then I'll look just like him.
Oh, there you well, yeah.
Kind of look like him
He's
anyway.
he can't do that. Can't walk around.
No.
The funny thing, my beanie that I have, I got for free. So that was
So
when I go out in the cold, I got free hat. I wear a free hat.
when you shovel the snow, that your wife forces you to go out there.
Yeah.
Go shovel the snow, Bob.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
when
it.
I get forced into doing things.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm lazy. I just want to stay inside.
Yeah. So again, Bob, I have to ask this question because people are very curious now. about
they?
just who
Okay.
you are, okay? And then I'll go into myself real quick before we close up.
All right.
So with this split personality issue of talk we're discussing today,
Mhm.
would you openly admit that you suffer from split personality because you have to turn yourself into a blue cat? I'm
No,
putting
no, not at all.
I'm basically I'm going into a robust here with Bob here. He's
No, I
like,
wouldn't
"Damn
say
it,
that I have a split
Michael."
personality. I have, so when I'm the cat, certain parts of my personality are enhanced,
Okay.
but I don't have a split personality, so I'm not hugely different, when I'm not being the cat as when I am being the cat. I wouldn't say that it's like a night and day kind of thing. It's just shades of gray. And so maybe I'm more gray here than I am in real life, but that's about it. No, not definitely not split.
Did
I mean, I am different. So, and Miles always calls me out on this. So on here, hey, let's talk about whatever. If you and I were sitting on the train or whatever, and we said next to each other and you're like, hey, what's your name, Bob?
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't talk to you. I may even move.
Oh my god, really?
I'd be like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm
Wow, what an asshole.
I'm very quiet in public. And
Damn.
so, yeah, I
You
just
wouldn't
keep to
even
myself.
engage in a simple conversation and
I
say,
would
"Hey,
maybe
how are you?"
depends. I mean, it depends on my mood and what was happening, where I was going and
Is this
whatnot.
the next station I have to get off of? I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
just make small talk, yeah.
No, yeah, but I a little bit, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people like wanna in those kind of situations, I feel like they wanna just, drum up a friendship with you and then go on vacation together. It's like, "No,
God,
we're not
yeah.
doing that."
Vacation friends, that's what they
Yeah,
wanna
we're
be.
not doing that. No, we're not. No, you're
They
not
they
we're not
talk to
going
you
to
once or
dinner.
twice a year, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're not doing vacations. I mean, I'll say, yeah, I'll give you directions or something. But when we get beyond that, then I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I have things I'm thinking. I'm thinking
So
about stuff.
so
Leave me
you will
alone.
openly admit that you do not suffer from personality disorders even if you turn yourself into a blue cat?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean,
No?
maybe somebody
Wow.
else would say it differently, but no, it's just variations on myself.
I find it to be therapeutic. I will openly admit on the air that I have a personality disorder. I will say
Okay.
that. I will say that because the reason why I do this here, okay, and I'm respecting boundaries here with Bob and I. We have to kind of close up shop soon within the next
Mhm.
minute or so. But
So you're
I use
totally
it.
different on here than you are in your
I am.
life.
I am because I have family members that tune into this show and they're like,
Like, who's that?
he's nothing like this in person. He is the most quietest person.
Yeah,
I
but
will
that's okay.
I am. I am. On here, I'm a big loudmouth son of a bitch. But like
Mhm.
in person, I am completely just yeah. Did you hear that ping, guys? I don't know if you heard it, but that was probably like a family member texting me because they are listening to the live stream,
I'm
probably
telling you, shut up. No.
saying yes, he is actually exposing. Thank you to the podcasting gods. He's doing something that we've been trying to get him to do for years. No.
Mm.
I am the most quietest person ever in
Oh,
person.
that's good.
But
I
on
mean, but this
here,
is an outlet, so,
yeah, on here, I can go into something that I've dreamed since I was a little boy, right?
Mhm.
Being a loudmouth son of a bitch, not shutting up. My grandfather looking at me saying, "Stop being a moron. Didn't you paying
Mm.
attention? Didn't you pay attention to what I just said?" Yeah, I can be that. I can be that little Michael to now, So
Okay.
the personality disorders. Who are you really? That's the question
Oh, you
mark
never
to me.
really I mean, if you're really comfortable with yourself, good, fantastic. Most people are not, so,
I don't think so either, Bob.
yeah.
Do you think that?
No, I don't. I think everybody is learning about themselves. Things change over time, and you're never the same person from year to year, decade to decade. It's a journey, my friend, as they say. You're never going to
It's
be
a
the same.
it's a journey through the great beyond. You're always going to be your little Jimmies. Your little Jimmies.
I would hope if you were.
This had been a Truth Productions media episode. Thank you for listening.